All right, everybody, so I just bought this Gunslinger 250 from Deer Crossing Tree Stands. Not a lot of information on these out there, so I figured I would put together a quick video. My takeaways: I've used it a few days on a little hunting trip I recently took here just after Thanksgiving here in 2021. Look, I got limbs stuck on me. Here I've got the climbing stand in backpack mode. You see I've got it on me, how it sits. Everything, it's pretty comfortable. I mean, it's, you know, the only spot that kind of gets me is right down here. It just kind of rubs against the very upper part of my butt there. So if you're carrying it for longer periods of time, you know, it can kind of bounce around back there. But overall, it's really not bad. You know, I just hung my rifle. It's got a shoulder sling. I hung it across the front of me here, so it wouldn't bump up against me while I was walking with it. So I'm gonna try to get this thing set up. It's kind of awkward and clumsy, so don't laugh too much here. Let's see if I can get it done pretty quick. All right, the first thing to do is you've got a binder here on this side. When I took this thing out of the box, man, I undid this strap and I fought trying to get it back, but it just simply unlocks and then you can take it off. It's just got a hook, just hooks on. It goes around the bottom part. Well, this is actually the seat back to hold that in place. So just do that. So once this is off, you really don't need it anymore. At least I didn't. The part you will need to use again is this bungee cord here. Just hooks into these holes. You will need that, so just kind of hang on to that for right now. And then the bottom part, I've already got myself tangled up and got my string there, and I'll get more into that string and why it's there. But quite simply, there are two bolts here, and it says in the box in the instructions to make sure that you leave these two holes right here, these two holes here on either side, exposed. So whenever you're trying to put this thing together, you set those holes. It kind of helps to hold this thing in place together, holds it on there while you're putting your straps, bungees, all that stuff like that. But anyways, let's set this over here out the way for now. We'll talk a little bit more about that. First thing I'm gonna do is unfold. Okay, lock out the arms. Okay, before I do anything else, I'm gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about this upper part here. So this bar here is adjustable. You've got several different right here. Now, that's the hardest part, is getting this thing adjusted to fit the tree that you're going to be climbing. I think I've got it set up for this tree, but anyways, I'm going to go ahead and take this loose. Just a wing nut. Now, when you're in the woods, I'm going to paint these things bright orange. The same with these bolts too. I'm going to end up painting these bright orange, because when you drop these out in a bunch of leaves or whatever, it's dark, they are hard to find. Trust me, I already know. So I'm just going to try to get this thing ready. Hopefully it don't spin on me. Hook it around the tree. See if I can reach it. Yep, got it. Yep, and I've got it too tight. Whenever I was climbing, I was on a smaller tree, so I'm gonna have to adjust that one on that side. So I'm gonna take it loose. I'm gonna move it all the way out because it didn't even want to get close. I'm just gonna take this bolt, move it to the top hole, put that back on. Snug it down. I snug it down as tight as I can to keep that thing from spinning freely. So whenever I go around the tree with it, it's available for me reach back there. I bumped it. There we go. Yep, I'm good. This is the hardest part, the most awkward part, especially when you're by yourself. You can imagine how hard this would be in the dark. Once I've got the bolt through, you see I don't have it on yet, so I've got the bolt through, and it kind of holds itself, and I can put that on. I don't know if you can see all that, but anyways, this tree is odd shaped, so I'm just going to turn it. Turn it out the way, lift it up. Here. Now it's on the round portion of this tree. All right, so from here, and the next thing I do is I kind of go in and check my other bolts and stuff. So up here, bring in close so you can see. So right here, there's another hole there and here. So if you put this down here, this is your back. It will let it recline more. That's all. It'll just simply let that recline more. Not a huge deal. I think I've got it back about where I wanted it. This is the headrest up here. So when you're sitting in this thing, you know, butt's in here, legs over here, you can lean your head back on this rest here. I'll see if I can tilt this up a little bit, maybe get a little more angle. So anyways, moving this back lets this recline back. You should see how level this is. Actually, it's down a little bit. Ideally, you know, when you get to the height you're going to climb at, the tree's going to get a little smaller. This thing could lean a little more. That's going to make you recline a little more. So you just got to think about all that when you're positioning this for the size of the tree. Okay, I'm not really going to climb. I'm just going to get up in it and sit, kind of show you how it goes. So for now, I'm just going to lift it up, get it out of my way so I don't bang my head on it. All right, now the bottom section. See if I need to move the camera back down maybe. Bottom section. So I already know, because I had to adjust that one, this one's way too far out. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that. This other side. You can see this is a little bit of a pain. If there was one thing I would say this stand could improve on, is this right here. You know, I don't know if a cable type system like what some of the other stands use would be better. I don't know, but I found that this bottom section here, if I go all the way out to the last hole on that one, it's usually about the second hole on this one. We'll see how close I am. Snug that down. All right, you're asking me why didn't I do it on the right? It don't matter. I'm gonna try to change angles this time and show you a little different. Oh shoot, I'm getting ahead of myself. It did it on its own. So you have to go ahead and unfold this stand. See, I've got this bolt nut in my hand. Set that down for now. These two eye bolts here are what just bungee goes on to secure your feet into these stirrups. But you got to have these two eye bolts. You got to undo these. Again, you know, something to improve on. Not having to do all this assembly out in the woods would sure be nice. You got to line up these holes. They're tight. You know, they're drilled to size, so it's not like they just fall in and fall out. And it's warm here in Texas. I'm having trouble. I may edit out part of this just to speed things up on this video. First video I made was, it's way too long. I'm not a YouTuber, guys. I just don't have it in me, but I wanted to make something a little shorter. I made this long video, and it was, after I put all the sections together, this thing was almost an hour long. And who's going to get bored of that real quick? Okay. Come on. Grab your fingers. All right. Now, bolt my wing nut. I'm not the most graceful, so bear with me. All right, there we have the bottom assembled. Like I say, now you have your eye bolts here. Put some weight on it. Yep, feels good, feels solid. Now, that string I had to undo earlier. This is what this is for. I'm gonna try not to get in the way. Tie these two together. Why? My son-in-law came over here and he was using it, and we were standing here. My son-in-law and my son-in-law was in it, and my grandson was down here with me. And he got up, you know, just a few feet here, and this bottom came loose and fell to the ground. That's what this string is for. If that happens, you can reach down with the string, pull this thing back up. Okay, it's tied to the bottom, tied to the top. Just a little security measure. Now, this bungee here, very simple. Seen these 1,000 times. They just hook, and they go in behind your feet, back of your feet, front of your feet. So I'm gonna try to do a little climbing here. See if I can get in this thing. Probably gonna have to undo this bungee. Set it out the way for now. Yeah. My feet are there. Bungee around the back of my feet. There we go. Bring this down. All right. So to climb, I'm not going up high. So to climb, pretty simple. Lift, position. All right. Stand, lift. All right. Real simple. Sit, lift. I don't want to get out of the camera frame, so I'm just going to come back down. And what I found is that for me to sit here like this is a position you may want to sit in for a minute, or at least whatever. I like these two to be close together so that my feet, you know, I can rest my feet on it pretty comfortable. So I'm going to undo the bungee. Take my feet out of the straps. Okay, everything looks good. Everything's where it wants to be. I'm good there. I've checked all my stuff. Head race is good. Sit back. There we go. Ready to hunt. Rifle over here and the thing, and I did climb with mine. I climbed with it. It worked perfect. So, like I said, I'm fat. It makes me get out of breath quick. And put your feet up here. I don't know if I would ever get that crazy with it, but you could. Most of the time I find myself here. I would even kind of put my feet back here a little bit. Gotta be careful though. See, my feet are touching that bottom. You disturb it, that thing will fall. That's what my son-in-law did, and that's why it ended up falling with him. I used to keep my feet here, sometimes one foot down here. Now, how high you make that is personal preference for you. You know, that's not for me to say everybody's got to do it my way, but I've got short legs, long torso, so just what was comfortable for me. All right, so I'm gonna hook my bungee around, kind of separate my feet, pull them back a little bit, and start working my way back down. All right, so really not a lot to it. All right, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the features of this. You know, one thing the video talked about was these bolts here. They're not stainless, but if you're like me, you're not going to leave this thing out in the weather to rust and fall apart. It's made of aluminum, but the bolts look like they are a cadmium plated. The bars here are riveted in, but everything else has bolts. Lock nuts. These are nylon lock nuts. Here's the backpack straps. Like I say, here's where your feet go in. Your bungee comes in behind. You got your cleats down here. Up above, you see the cleats are up here. This here, I think this would be something that I would be periodically checking, is the integrity of this seat. This seat is what's holding your weight. Okay, so you want to make sure that these bolts here and this stitching up here are always in good condition. You always check your bolts, look at everything, make sure nothing's backing out, working itself off. See how long these are? This one and this one. That's so if you wanted to, you could remove these. Mine's loose. You could remove these right here. It unscrews. Let's see if this one will unscrew. Oh, the whole thing's loose. I'd have to tighten those up, but you could unscrew these off of these, and you can move it around to this side on these long studs here. All right, so it's pretty simple, guys. I mean, really, my unboxing of this thing, I fought and struggled with it because I just made it out to be harder than it was. I'll be honest with you. It's straightforward. So I'm gonna take it down, and oh, before I take it down, I want to show you the extra pad. One thing I found when I was out hunting in the woods, I was out there for a long period of time, and man, I was kind of worried about my legs going to sleep here on this bar. That wasn't the issue at all. My butt was going to sleep. There's not a lot of padding here, and yeah, it conforms to you, and you can shift your weight forward and backwards, or you can sit more up or whatever and change that weight in that position. But ultimately, you know, it was tricky. Might be a little too high to have me in the frame, but anyway, sitting there for a long period of time, you know, I was like, man, I should have brought that cushion. That's what this is. I ordered this extra. It was like $30. I can't remember, they call it a comfort pad or something like that, but it's almost an inch thick, adds more cushion. You'll notice you got these bands, these straps here, tie straps. These are at the end. These are almost at the end. The end that goes, has them all the way at the end. It goes up to the top. Okay, and you just tie those on, and real simple, not a whole lot to it. Those just tie on. It gives you additional comfort there, additional padding for sitting those long hours, you know, sitting there all day, whatever you're going to do. Like I say, you can pull this, bring that backrest further back and recline a little more. I was a little more nervous about, you know, facing the tree. This is the first tree stand I've ever had that I faced the tree. Well, let's be honest. The only other stand I ever had was one that faced away from the tree. It was an old stand that I've had for 20 years. It was steel. Bought it for $100 from Academy 20 years ago. Me and a buddy of mine, we both got matching. I don't even know if he still has his, but I finally have decided to pass mine on to my grandson or somebody else in the family to use and get the experience of tree climbing. And I was looking around, man, I was looking at the Summit Viper and all that stuff, and I was almost ready to pull the trigger on the Summit Viper when I stumbled across a guy's video on the Gunslinger. There aren't many videos out there. There are 2 other videos out there. One, the guy's talking about how comfortable it is, you know, and he climbs, and you know, he kind of shows a little bit about it, and he kind of compares it to a, you know, face away from the tree climbing stand. Another guy did an unboxing. I tried the unboxing, and like I say, I'm just not a YouTuber, guys. I'm just not organized enough. So I'm speaking faster because my other video was so long. So anyways, what was I saying? Like I say, I stumbled across this puppy here, went onto the Deer Crossing Tree Stand website. That's the only place I could find it. Can't buy it from any other retailer. It's a family-owned business, I assume. They had it shipped out to me within a week. The shipper tried to delay a day on me or whatnot, and I had to get on them and get them to get it delivered to me before Thanksgiving here so I could use it the weekend after Thanksgiving doing a little hunting. But anyways, man, I found it to be extremely comfortable. I really like it. Like I say, I was nervous about facing the tree, but truthfully, you know, looking around a little bit, that's not a huge field of vision. And truthfully, I'm right-handed. I shoot right-handed, so I'm gonna probably be 90% of the time shooting here. So I found that if I situated myself so that north wind or south wind, whatever wind was blowing, and I positioned that tree stand, was kind of blowing and hitting me on my left side of my face a little more, that was perfect, because I'm planning on shooting here. I can shoot off-handed for me, left-handed, but doggone, it's hard. So just easier to position myself on the tree. Where I'm shooting at is here, kind of more to my left. I can swing around. I've got a stick, got one of them shooting sticks. I can rest here on the bottom, help hold the weight of that rifle. I can lean up against a tree. I could put my arms against this. You know, any number of things you can do. But anyways, having the gun resting over here in the rings, I was able to climb pretty easy. Yeah, it's a little off balance, but yeah, you just compensate for it and climb. It stayed in there pretty secure. I didn't feel unsafe with that gun sitting there the entire time. Felt perfectly fine. I have a little backpack that I bring with me. It's got my hunting license, skinning knife, buck call, things like that. Just kind of hung it off of the side here. I may end up getting me another set of those hooks just to have them. I don't know. I'm just still kind of weighing out my options on that. Let's see what else. Like I say, I backpacked with it for probably almost 1,000 yards down into this bottom and hunted. Didn't see anything, but you know, wasn't any fault of the stand. I'm gonna clean this thing up probably, get me some flat gray and green paint and paint this thing, you know, just to get rid of that aluminum. It's not shiny. I mean, it's dull, but you know, who wants aluminum out in the woods? That's too visible for everybody and everything. But I'm gonna go through the process of taking this thing down now, showing you kind of how I do it in reverse. Now that I've got it set up on the tree, I'm gonna take it down and show you how put it together and backpack it out. So I'm gonna tilt the camera down just a little, make sure I'm getting everything to the ground. All right, so first things first, untie my string here. And I'm sure there's probably people out there who say, man, the kind of knot you tied is, you know, just makes it harder on you. Yeah, and again, I'm not a knot guy. I'm not a Boy Scout. Never did Boy Scouts, but I'm sure there's a better knot system or something. I'll probably end up getting me a carabiner, something other set up to make this just a quick snapping hook, so I ain't gonna do all this tying. Just flip it and be done. All right. Take off the bungee. I'm gonna go ahead and take loose my 2 eye bolts. Fold that down out of the way, put the eye bolt back in. Tighten it back up. Snug it up so I won't lose it on the track. That may be easier putting it on the tree like this, unfolding it and hanging it, and then, you know, I was kind of fighting this on the ground earlier, but anyhow, let's see. Take off my bar bolts here. Like I say, the main thing is that you remember to leave yourself at least these 2 holes. I've got more than enough on 2 holes there, so that ain't gonna be a problem. Up. Sits up against those eye bolts. Alright. String out the way. Just gonna set this bottom over here. Let's just push. Alright, top. Bring it down a little bit. Fold down the headrest. Okay. Doggone it. Watch that. Fold over. All right. That's folded over. There you go. Go ahead and crack these loose here. Take loose the V-bar. Hold it, take the weight off. Okay. Put down. Top hole. That doesn't matter. And these are long-winded. Yes, you know, because you don't want that. I'm having trouble getting it started. Don't want that coming loose. We want them long-winded. All right, break it down in the middle. Put it in half. Close that up. Now, gotta spin it back around. Get it against the tree. Like I say, we want these 4 bolts here ready to go. Now, what we're gonna do? Take this, turn it. We've got our backpack straps out. We're gonna set up these bottom 2 holes with those studs. Kind of slot in. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right. Now what I found was easiest, just go ahead and hook this up, keeps them together. I put it right here where that bolt is holding the bottom holes. Keeps it from coming apart. Back to this thing. Now, like I say, this thing here, all it does, it just locks over and snaps into place. And so it just kind of uses a little leverage action. But the first time I took this thing out the box, man, I took this thing apart. Good God, I might not like to never got it figured out how to put back together and wrap around. I like to go down far enough to capture the seat back, you know, and get it. See what I'm talking about? I'm all the way around. Come around this side. And it feels a little tight. Just kind of squeeze some things together. There we go. Now on this side here, I just bend that over, lock it. It ain't got to be super tight on there, guys. I mean, it's gonna hold it, do itself pretty good. Oh, got one more thing. One thing I almost forgot about this string. However you choose to do it, just get it out the way. I'm just gonna wrap it. Just don't want it dragging on the ground. Just get it out the way. And that's it. I'm back on the road, heading back out, find another tree to climb, hunt another day. I hope this video has been helpful for you guys. Like I say, if you want any other specific information on it, I don't check YouTube all the time. This will be the first video I've ever posted. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them, display whatever I need to. Like I say, for me, I just hung my gun strap over my neck here, over my arm, looped it, had it right here in front of me, walked, you know, as far as I needed to walk. So you guys have a good day. God bless.